everyone. Welcome back. Our next guest is actor, producer, writer, and host of the Latinos Out Loud Podcast, a two-time award-winning weekly show that features comedians, improv bits, pranks, character segments, guest interviews that inspire and move Latinos forward. And joining us to share more is actor, producer, writer, and Latinos Out Loud podcast host Rachel La Loca Strauss-Muniz. Hello, welcome.
Hola, bella hermana. Hello, how you doing, my love?
Oh my gosh, that was a quick introduction because we have so much more to talk about, pero I wanted to get you on and we can discuss it together porque you,
Yeah.
my dear, have been very, very, very busy.
Yes, mama. Busy, out there, hungry, with so much desire and fuel and passion. And a lot of that comes from being around people like you and you yourself.
Aw,
Watching. Oh, baby girl, come on. We've been
aw,
at this for a while, and I
yeah.
love you so much.
Oh,
I just want to tell you
I
that.
appreciate you throwing it back in my corner. I really appreciate that because that's really what's most admirable, right? I really find joy in seeing my peers sustain themselves doing what they set out to do, right? And so when we talk about this business, right, it seems to me that, especially now living in the social media age, unless you're out there, rubbing elbows with like A-listers or even B-listers for that matter, that doesn't mean that you can't sustain. And so to see how you've been moving is really, really, really admirable. I mean, really quickly, I know we're here to talk about Latinos Out Loud, podcast, but I do want to acknowledge you for your voiceover work that you're doing with the Tuttle twins. I know you play the mom in this animation, and it's so much fun. It's fun to
It is.
because it's like an entirely different person and it doesn't sound like you. So it's really, really fun. And also to the next generation. And we can talk about it a little bit more if you like. But I also want to acknowledge the fact that the new release of the Audible original Michelle Rojas is not okay. You're part of that as well. So you're doing a lot of voiceover work, and obviously you've got a successful podcast. So it's really refreshing to see when you could work in the realm of what it is that you've been creating, not just as a project, but for yourself.
Yeah, that was really well said, Rena. I never thought I'd get here. Like, I'm always Deborah Coxing it in my head, like, how did we get here? Like, I don't know how, like, the voiceover work stuff just came like very natural. And I really do have to thank, I guess, the training, and all of that. But like, on the Latinos Out Loud podcast, I'm refining this tool of mine, this voice, week after week after week after week. And that's everything from just breathing and listening and articulating myself and just not sounding like a schmo. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
And
so
also doing
refining it.
characters, but also doing characters because, back in the day, it was all about, being entertained through the sound of people's voices. And so you had to imagine as opposed to seeing it. So that within itself is quite the craft to really refine.
Yeah, and I love how you said that. Like, how history repeats itself. Like, I feel like podcasts are like bringing us back to the old school radio days, right? Like, my dad would tell me stories about him sitting in front of the radio with his brother, waiting for their show to come on, and they had their decoder rings all ready, like for the action hero to come on. Hey, kids, reporting live. And podcasting now is like that. It's just like this brand new, this evolution of what was the entertainment back in the day. So I'm really proud of that. And then you brought up something so real, is that like we're comedians, right? Like, so I've been doing sketch comedy for a while with all these characters and voices in my head, and now I could release them through a new medium, a new conduit. This podcast space is so like ever changing. Michelle Rojas is not okay. I also worked on something called La Cabina Telefónica, which was a Spotify exclusive or Spotify original, in partnership with Studio 80. So this was a bilingual podcast that's out there right now, and it's really dope. It's just about like you know how back in the day, our family members used to communicate with those back home at the cabinas.
Right.
Like so, it
Right.
takes place in Queens in a cabina, and we hear each family member's story as told through the telephone line from back in the '90s and late '80s. Um, so it's a really cool project again with I play a non-Latina, which is so funny. Like
Yeah.
like I get to tap into Rachel Strauss,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the have Americana.
Right.
So like it's a lot like my character's name is Anastasia and
Right.
like I'm very not Latina. So
Right.
that was fun for me. A stretch. I couldn't do like none of the next stuff in the booth when I was recording the VO. I
Right. Right.
couldn't do any of this that I usually do in real life. But thank you for shouting me out on the VO work because it's a lot of fun. And like the other obvious thing is like, yo, as actors and stuff, you know, when we show up to set, it's like hair and makeup and wardrobe. Nah, son, I show up to this VO and I'm just like in regular t-shirt, sweatpants. Sometimes, you know, if I'm
I
recording at home, no pants.
That is
You know what I'm
definitely a
saying?
benefit. That is definitely a benefit. Okay. And on that side, I want to say I'm jelly. All right. I am so jelly. Because you be like, yo, I'm in my PJs,
Oh.
chilling.
Is great, yo. It's really amazing because I get to use those like pants with holes in them that we don't wear outside of the apartment,
Right, right,
you
right,
know.
right.
But I could rock them here. I'm rocking Hanukkah pants during the summer. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're within arm's reach, and I gotta
Listen,
jump on this
listen.
Zoom real
I want
quick.
to tell you, when we were shooting virtually, I was the caftan queen. I was the caftan queen because eso para mí era mi pajama, but it was pajamas with elegance. Y ahora,
Oh, I love it.
you know what I'm talking about? The caftans. They're like oversized batas. But very
Yes, but like
elegant and
sheer
flowy.
stuff, like some boa type stuff.
Yeah.
I see you. You are you are elegant. If you Google it and you look up Latina elegance, Rena Valentine's gonna be right there. Her
Oh,
picture like this.
I like that, right? Con mi abanico, but we're gonna leave that for last. No, we're not pulling it
Con
out
todo
yet.
esto. No,
No, no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no. We
no,
have
no.
a whole thing ready. We have
Great,
a whole thing ready to
great.
go.
Now, we're actually here to talk about this wonderful live Latinos Out Loud that's going to be happening at the Triad Theater. Okay, so let's talk about what people can expect because this is going to be an experience, not just a podcast.
That's right. Rena, yo, I just love being among la gente. You know what it is for a performer just to be among a live audience, to be just have that energy, that flow, that we reciprocate you from the stage back to you. It's this like beautiful ping pong battle all night. Pero the podcast combined with that to me is paraíso. Like that's my
I
heaven.
would
I
imagine
get to
so.
be I get to be at my second home, which is the Triad Theater on 72nd and Columbus. Shout out to the Upper West Side who welcomes us with open arms. Because you know the after party on 72nd Street outside of the theater is always lit.
Right.
So thank you to all the neighbors who allow all of us Latinos to just be hanging out, rap ciphering, doing all kinds of ciphers outside of the theater post show. But
You're making me laugh, and you know why you're making me laugh? Because you're ready.
okay,
You're apologizing in advance. You're like, bueno,
yes,
prepárense.
I'm sorry, 72nd Street residents, pero ya ustedes saben que the energy just can't stop. But the event, back to the event. So we are doing an event, like I mentioned, just a mishmash of all of that, the podcast, live audience, special guests,
Hmm.
comedy, music, all of that. And that's going to be happening on the 26th of February, the day before Dominican Independence Day. And so there's going to be a lot of celebrations happening that day. And guess what? We're doing a matinee show because la cosa es que they're going to be going out the whole weekend
Right,
celebrating Dominican
right.
independence, right? So we're giving people the opportunity to sleep. Gather your ibuprofen, your Gatorade, put on your shades, and come to our show. Doors at 2:30, showtimes at 3. You can find tickets at wearelatinosOutloud.com/events, or you can hit me up at Rachel La Loca. I'm very accessible these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I answer all the DMs, all the tweets, all the TikToks, all the whatever that comes inside, pause on that, or that comes in, I should say, I answer.
Uh,
But anyway, that's happening, and we're so excited. Rena, I hope you can make it.
Oh my gosh, it sounds exciting. I think you're also very considerate. I mean, she said 2:30 arrival, 3 o'clock show time. That's CPT time, gente. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
right.
And we have guests that will be interviewing, but right now I can say like we're gonna be announcing guests that we get as we get closer. But I'm really happy to say that Cypher Sounds is coming through and he's gonna do his performance. And he talks a lot of that Rican, Dominican, Latino stuff, and it's always fun to watch Cypher Sounds perform. Shout out to Cypher. And then other talent will be announced as well. But you can come kick it with us. And what we like to do with Latinos Out Loud and what we often hear, Rena, is that like the listeners feel like they're in the sala with us, in the
Right.
living room, just kicking it,
Uh-huh.
and we're snapping on each other and we're doing games and silly skits and stuff. So you can expect all of that, but live at
Right.
the Triad Theater on February 26th at 2:30.
All right. So I understand there's gonna be skits too.
you know, we do, I love, okay, so
Okay, so
here's the
you're
thing.
doing radio style skits.
Yes,
Okay. All right. All
yes,
right. Just want
yes.
I'm trying to give everybody the visual of what to expect. So it's really like you're doing a live studio audience recording of Latinos Out Loud in where they're going to experience being in the sala with you.
That was beautiful. Did somebody record that? Please tell me somebody recorded
It's on
that.
record. It's on record.
Okay, perfect. It's on record. If we could just cut that, you could send it to me. That will be the promo for the show moving forward. Rena, you said it exactly. It's
Qué
Latinos
linda.
Out Loud Live.
Qué
And let me
linda.
tell you, I'm really excited.
And I love
If
it,
I can
but
leave
we're out of
y'all,
time, so it has to be quick.
I just want to say Latinos Out Loud has become a lifestyle. It's more than a show. And I just want to challenge everybody to be Latino out loud. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to tune into my show to be a Latino, Latina, X, Y, Z, to live out loud. I think it's our time as la gente to live out loud.
Beautiful. And thank you for bringing it here to our viewers, everyone. That's Rachel La Loca Strauss-Muniz encouraging us all to live out loud. All right. Once again, we're talking Latinos Out Loud Podcast, and you can listen to Latinos Out Loud Podcast on all streaming services. And as we were discussing, they're going to be hosting their live show at the Triad Theater on Sunday, February 26th from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. located at 158 West 72nd Street in Manhattan. For tickets and more, you can visit wearelatinosOutloud.com. And before we take a break, we got to pull out our fans because we established that we were going to say adios to each other like this. Rachel, let's show me your fan.
I love you, Rena. I'm your biggest fan.
Ay, Dios mío. Te aprecio. All right, you guys, stay tuned because our open artist spotlight is coming up now.